You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith.
Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Wednesday, February 6, 2019. It is also the feast day of St. Paul Miki of Japan and his 26 companions that were martyred with him. This week on the Catholic Sprouts podcast, we are talking about how we need to trust in God's plan, how we are not called to the easy and comfortable life, but we are called to follow God and make sure that each and every activity of our day brings glory to Him and not just comfort to us. Our first profound example of a saint that really did trust in God's plan was Saint Agatha, an early Christian martyr that we talked about yesterday. And together we marveled at how God used the small and the weak to spread faith in His church throughout the world. Today we are looking at another amazing martyr. That is St. Paul from Japan. Now, this is not the St. Paul that wrote the Gospels. This is St. Paul that lived about 1,600 years after that St. Paul. St. Paul Miki was a seminarian in Japan in the years 1597, so several hundred years ago. As you probably know, Japan is not necessarily a Christian country. Christianity is not the main religion practiced by people that live there. They do ancestor worship and different sorts of worship, but they are not Christian. There are certain Christians that live in Japan, of course, now. But at the time that this St. Paul lived, there really were not very many Christians. The Christian faith had just barely been brought to the island of Japan. St. Paul, though, and his father both converted to Christianity, and they quickly fell in love with the beauty and truth of the Christian church. St. Paul joined a secret seminary and was busy studying for the priesthood. However, like many places where Christianity is brought and spread in secret, it was a crime to be a Christian. The Japanese did not like to see the spread of the Christian faith because they felt like it was Western influence, that the influences of places like Europe were going to sneak in through this religion and take something from them. So they sought out Christians and executed them. St. Paul was discovered, and he, along with 26 others, was executed because they would not renounce their faith in Jesus Christ. Now, this alone is remarkable, that they were willing to give up their lives for faith in Jesus Christ. And it is the type of faith that all of us are called to have, whether we are tested or not. But what is even more remarkable about St. Paul of Japan is that he was undaunted while facing death. In fact, he gave his last sermon, his last preaching on the truth of Jesus Christ while he was being executed. Also, shortly before he died, he forgave his executioners and begged them to convert and believe in Jesus Christ as well. Now, can you imagine this? If you were there witnessing these men killed because they believed in Jesus Christ, and then you heard them begging you to believe in Jesus Christ as well, wouldn't it be a little bit hard to believe? You think, well, why should I believe in Jesus? All that's going to get me killed. And yet to see these men with their faith so bold. And here is the thing that we realize, that St. Paul from Japan realized while he was being executed. He realized that he was not made for this earth, and that even though he was being executed, he was going home. He was going home to Jesus Christ, to his true home, heaven. Now that is a beautiful, beautiful revelation, an amazing thing to be so convicted about as you're about to lose your life. And so, friends, here is my challenge for you today. I would like you to pray through the intercession of St. Paul of Japan and all of his companions that died with them. I want you to marvel at how they trusted in God's plan. Once again, like St. Agatha, they faced death, and it could have easily seemed pointless. But it didn't. They knew that they were headed home to heaven, and they trusted that this was God's beautiful plan for their lives. So pray, St. Paul of Japan, bless me that I might see the wonder of God's plan just like you did.
That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God intended you to be. And quickly, one word about Lent. Lent is coming, and we at Catholic Sprouts have a brand new resource to offer you. This year, pray the Jesus tree with your family during Lent. It is similar to the Jesse tree, only it dives into all the events of Jesus' life, and there is a special devotion for each and every day of Lent. You can check it out and find out more about this really beautiful devotional at the website CatholicSprouts /Jesus-tree.